You're listening to live streaming right here in Northport, Florida, and I have not only a special guest. I kind of have to throw it back to maybe years worth of knowing each other, but Linda Yates, former commissioner, now in a position in Northport PD, and I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself and kind of give an overview of her history here in Northport, but also her title now and what she does today. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, John. Thank you for having me. Really glad to be here. It's been a while since we've been together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was a commissioner, termed out in 2018, and I have a job here at the city police department. I've been here for 6 years now, and I'm currently the Northport Police Department records manager. So that's what I've been doing and fully enjoy it. Really love it. And my gosh, I mean, since we go back a while, in how long we've known each other, hasn't the city grown? I mean, It is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the fun part, because when I realized you were coming on, not only were you here prior to being a commissioner and you saw, I guess, what we would call the old Northport now. That wasn't that long ago, because I've only been here 25 years.
Yeah.
And we didn't have 4-lane Sumter back then.
Oh, I know. No Walmart. No, I mean, the store is 41. There wasn't anything there.
No. And I got to ask this because I'm listening to your voice. You haven't lost your twang.
Well, it depends. It depends on what I say. I mean, it just depends on the words. Depends on, from the holiday when you're around the family and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kind of picked it back up again, didn't you?
A little bit, yeah.
So across the bottom, I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. I'm hoping everything's clear for everyone out there. But I have put the contact information for public records information from the Northport PD at the bottom of the screen. So that is scrolling just as it is off of the website. So that it's there. But let's talk a little bit about the past and kind of climb into the future here a little bit, because the growth in this city has been something that people have talked about. And being a past citizen, city commissioner, and now in the police department, you've seen it grow in different ways and different strategies now. Are we overgrowing too fast, do you think?
I really don't think that we're growing too fast. The more that the city attracts people, you kind of have to keep pace with that as far as your building commercial and support services just to meet the demand. So I think, back when I was first elected, 2010, I think we had like a population of maybe 60,000 people. We're up to close to 100,000 people now. So it does take that constant growth, and if anything, I think we're a little bit behind. As far as providing the services that most of our residents would want to have here.
Yeah, and you've kind of got this unique position now too, because you're not necessarily on the streets, but you're seeing a lot of paperwork, and you've been in this position how long now?
6 years.
All right. So 6 years of analyzing the data, so to speak. Have you seen a difference in flow of information coming in from 6 years ago when you started?
I would say so, yes. The community definitely is very, very engaged and very involved. And especially with our police department. The police department is very community orientated, so we do a lot of events and just engage in information and education with the community. So I would say yes, definitely from at least the last 6 years, but going back even further, it's just amazing how it's evolved.
I've had different different levels of the police department on. And we've had the drones, we've had everything that way, part of the process. Um, what do you, as a past city commissioner, citizen, and now in your position, what do you analyze the police department as you sit now, is as far as the technology and how the police department is embracing that?
Well, we've certainly come a long way. And I can actually remember, I think I was mayor at the time, and we were talking about things like a body worn camera. And, here we are, 2026, and we have body worn camera. We have had it actually since, I believe, 2019, that everything finally went through, and we have that technology. And we've seen over the past couple of years just more and more with AI technology, and just the body cams and different vehicle cameras. So keeping up with technology is something that our department has done. And at the end of the day, it's just a greater community service that we provide to our citizens.
And were you part of the voting block with the cameras and so forth back then?
Yes, yes, and we actually did. It was pretty good to get us started, where we did a trial portion where we would try out those cameras, and it worked out great. We were able to try it, see how it works, see what the receptiveness was in the community, and it's really been a valuable tool, both for the police department and for the community.
Um, so how has technology changed within the department that you are leading now, as far as the data? Because there has to be advancements there too.
Yes, there is, and especially with the records management system that our department has. It's come a long way over time. The data and the things that you can extract from that software, it's amazing. So compared to where we were.
Do you think it's more efficient today? It's kind of a silly question, but I have to ask it.
Well, I think so. I think, efficient in the way that in providing police services, we want to, go where the need is, right? We want to improve and where we need to improve. We want to be where we need to be proactive at fighting crime. So from that perspective, we have a real intelligence center that we can analyze this data that we're able to now, get from the system, and be able to be very proactive. And our community has a very, very good crime rate. We're very low in crime, especially with the population that we have. So it's because of this technology that we're able to build upon. Of course, you always have every year with budgetary constraints, but we've been able to do amazing jobs at getting that technology implemented in everything that we're doing.
There is a slight lag, being in the police department. I believe that's probably where our lag is kind of falling behind a little bit. She'll catch back up here in a second. Can you still hear me okay, Linda?
Can you hear
Linda?
me?
Yep, I can. Go ahead. You kind of went away there for a minute and you're coming back and forth. There you go.
Are you able to hear me, John?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So
we're good.
Yep, we're good. So continue with the department and how things are progressing.
Well, we have seen a phenomenal increase in social media. So our department has done an amazing job at getting out there on Facebook and the tweets and the information that we're putting out there. And again, one of the things that I think our department does very well is the educational piece of it. So that's really what it takes a lot of times, is to get the word out there so that people have an understanding as to, what's allowed, what's not allowed, just letting them know the resources that are available to them, If anybody needs resources, we have a community policing division that gets out there with the community and learns what the needs are out there.
So the Trisha Tarkinson. So I appreciate the fact that she's commenting on some sound issues where we were kind of working on that ahead of time.
Yeah.
It is a direct connection somewhere else in the transition. But Trisha, I appreciate that. But I too agree with Trisha. The social media transparency has been remarkable. I can't. I kind of get chills because I watched all the videos and the educational pieces that come with that are amazing. And I think you guys are working as a team really hard to get that information out to the community. You got talk about the transparency side and how you guys are really trying to focus in on that.
As far as transparency, again, we take a very proactive step towards the educational, informational piece of it. Social media has been great for us to be able to do that. We have different programs throughout the year that the department does along with the state, a Drive Sober campaign. So we try to educate out there and get the message out. And like I said, that's very important to do that education. Then we have other programs that we do. We just had the holiday period, and we do the Shop with a Cop events. Also, other events that help families that are in need. So it's amazing those things that we can do, and the community is so receptive to it, and they get very involved and engaged in it. So we're proud to do that. We
Yeah,
also
good, good.
well, we also had a campaign that we were doing for the growth of the department. So our department has grown exponentially. And in order to provide the services that the community expects and wants, we actually have outgrown our space. So we have done a lot of different educational meetings and presentations in order to convey that, in order to show people what the needs are and where we need to go as far as getting a new facility.
So you've kind of been wearing the same hat as far as transparency for quite a while. Being a past city commissioner, I know you were very transparent back then. You transitioned into this position, and you're very transparent in this position. So that shift wasn't hard for you, was it?
Not at all. Not at all. I really enjoy the engagement with folks. And of course, the records department is very instrumental with that connection to the community. We deal with records requests and body worn camera requests. And of course, that's becoming very popular now. If somebody has an accident, they want not only the accident report, but they also want the body worn camera or the dash cam videos. So we make that available to them. Obviously, we have to review it and redact it, and we explain to folks, what that process is and why we need to do that. So we're here to help the folks out and whatever those needs are. So we're very transparent with them to explain to them, if there's a particular video that's not able to be released, we explain to them why that is because it's per statute. And we'll give them that information.
There's a lot of guidelines that have to come with a lot of that stuff because of the evidence side of things. Can you kind of give an overview of the steps that a citizen would take in order to obtain any type of material?
Sure. They can contact us by phone. They can come into the lobby and they can make their request. A lot of times folks don't have a case number or they're not just, they don't give us enough information at first, and we try to ask them the questions that will get us the information that we need to look up the records that they're requesting. So that's all they have to do is explain to us what it is that they want, date, the time, if they have a case number, and we take it from there and we'll look up those records for them. So it's pretty easy. Now, there are certain cases, depending on the status of the case, maybe the state attorney has that case. or it's still under investigation. So those are the things that we have to assess when somebody makes a request. We have to look into all of that and then be able to communicate with the person, let them know just what information we can give them depending on the course of that investigation.
So what transitioned for you into what you're doing now from being a city commissioner? Um, when you get behind the dais as a citizen and you're transitioning, that's a big overhaul on the mindset. Was there, and you laughed about that one, but is there another transition point from being a commissioner into the management style that you have now?
I think being a commissioner, being a mayor in the city, it's all about people. It's about serving people. So for me, it really wasn't necessarily a hard transition to step into what I'm doing now because it's about helping people. Now, of course, as the records manager, my job is very much paying attention to the legislature and the laws that pertain to records, and I enjoy that very much. So, no different when I was on the commission and trying to help write legislation. So, for me, like I said, it's really been not much of a hard transition. It's just a different way of delivering the service to the people. So, it's very enjoyable.
Well, I have to apologize. I've put do not disturb on my phone and my tablet, and my family is still calling me. So I apologize for that.
No
Um,
worries.
but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out how to get it to shut down. But when you started as the commissioner, I know you had a vision in your head. With the vision that you had in your head throughout your 8 years, is the city where it's at now because of some of the things that you did back then?
Well, I think so. I think every person that serves on the commission has something to do with where the city goes. So yes, there are some big things that we were able to get up over some hurdles. When I first got into the commission, things were economically, we were coming out of that big recession from 2008. So it was very, very challenging times back then. We got through it, and here we are today, and you can see all of the new improvements that the city has undertaken and accomplished. So I think everybody that serves on the commission does add a piece to history.
Well, and the reason I asked that question is because the position you're in now, it's still transitioning every day. You went from a fluid transition commission spot to a management spot that everybody thinks that documents and different things like that. It's kind of set in form, but at the same time, you've got technology that comes in differently. Um, are do you see that challenge coming? We're seeing that throughout the police department itself, with the different technologies now coming in, the cameras, the body cameras, the drones, different things like that. Is your department feeling that same? I don't want to call it pressure. I think it's transition.
It is absolutely transition. I mean, you have to modify, you have to evolve with all of the things that are around you that are taking shape. So the records department is very, very different than it was 10 years ago even. Because we have now the technology with the body cameras, we have traffic cameras. So it does create some demands that you have to evolve with. So it takes more staff, for example, and there's a lot of growth. So you have to have, when you get those technologies, you also have to have the people to support those technologies, and that's what we're trying to keep pace with. It's a matter of growth. So you have to, in order to meet the demands of the public.
It is your documentation, your public records request different from the like City Hall?
Very different. The police department deals with very sensitive information. So, there's a lot of protections, whether it's for the victims or other statutory exemptions, depending on the particular positions that people may have, whether it's internal or external. So we have a lot of sensitive, confidential information. So it's very different than you would think from requesting at City Hall, whether it's a meeting or ordinance or a resolution or something like that. But the police department is very different in those records. We don't necessarily have readily available documents as there would be, say, in City Hall. Like meeting minutes are, they're public. So there's not a lot of redaction that you would expect for those types of things. Whereas here at the police department, there's so much that's sensitive information, personal information, social security numbers, and things like that. So everything that leaves this agency must go through the records department here at the police department, and we have to review it no matter what it is, even crash reports. There's just a lot involved, and no matter what it is, like I said, we have to review that. So we do function differently than what general public records at City Hall, what that department would deal with. Um, we have a lot of audio requests, so we actually have to use a lot of different technology for the type of requests that we would get.
Okay.
We also deal with not just the public, but and I don't know that a lot of folks realize this, but the people in the records department at the police department, we don't just serve the public. That's only a piece. That's only a portion. The records department here at the police department, we work with the state attorney's office. We work with many different government agencies, the FBI, all different types of government entities, in order to provide them with records that they need for filling their investigations, or for, say, the state attorney for prosecution. So the state attorney needs to get all of the evidence, all of the records, to make their case as strong as what they can make it. And so the records department is very instrumental in being able to get the state attorney what they're going to need to make their case. So there's a lot of involvement from the records department, like I say, with other agencies. It's not just the public records requests. It's doing all of that. And we also do citizen services. So there's many services that citizens come into the police department, and they may want to register their house for having an alarm system, so that there's communication with the police department. They may be going on vacation, and they want their house, their house checked while they're gone. So lots of different citizen services, and that's what I mean about our police department. And what we do is just so community orientated, and we provide a lot of valuable services to them.
And it's you don't get this opportunity too often to speak about all these things that you guys do either, do you?
Not at all. And I really appreciate the focus, because a lot of people, like I say, really do not recognize what are the records department, what does it do, what's involved. So I appreciate that opportunity. Don't really get to get that out there much.
When I talked to or text message with Chief Morales last night, Deputy Chief Morales, when he said that you were coming on, I was like, first off, I was excited, because I don't know how long it's been since we talked last, but
I think it's got to be a good 5 years. Yeah,
I know. And you've kind of been hiding in, I would say, the basement if it was Ohio, because I think that's where our records department was at the police department. But we don't have basements here. We have swimming pools instead. but
Right.
it's curious because as soon as I found out what your position was, I was like, well, we've never talked about that on any of the live streaming events that I host over the last 8 9 years um, anywhere. So it's kind of unique that we're having this time together, but it's also special because the city of Northport in its growth, it, this department that you're heading right now is not going to slow down. It's going to pick up.
Not at all. You're right, 100%. Um, and again, talking about, well, what is a day like in the records department? What is that day like? And we start as early as 5:30 in the morning.
We just got to catch here real quick. I think there's something going on with the internet in the city because we just got blasted there, and that's not typical. But can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Continue with what you were saying.
So our day starts at 5:30 in the morning. We have somebody coming in, and we not only deal with the public and the records that they want, but we also serve our internal customers. So whether that be Josh and PIO and people, what our staff does to get stuff out there for social media, we provide that information and videos, and then our officers and our detectives. So it's a daily basis that they need records to be able to do what they need to do. And then we also get the influx of paperwork from all of the calls for service from the previous day. So our department actually gets the paperwork and the electronic information, and we have to process all that. So our department is responsible to process that, and it's checks and balances to make sure names are correct. You don't want to have vehicle one hitting vehicle one. So we actually read through all of the reports and make sure that we cross the T's, dot the I's, and get everything packaged and together for whether it's the SAO or the other agencies that we're required to send information to for those reports. We do a lot for the crime statistics. So our department goes through and checks and categorizes everything for the FBI. So you know how there's annual stats that the FBI puts out.
Yep.
So every law enforcement agency participates in delivering their crime stats. So in order to do that, we actually have to review all of the criminal documentation and label it and categorize it accordingly, whether it's a theft, it's a fraud, and that's how we actually have to put that information together. And I'll tell you, that's very important to our citizens, because what we also have the opportunity to do is to apply for grants. And that is something that our department does. We look at every opportunity we can, help save citizens, taxpayers, help them save money by reaching out and putting out for grants. Well, all of that opportunity relies on the data and the statistics and the information that we put into the system. So the records department, I have a staff of 8 people right now. We are responsible to get that information and make sure it's categorized properly. So if we can get a grant for another K9, or we get a grant for some other technology or drones, that's all based on the records and the information that we can provide in order to meet those grant criteria.
So that department that you're running has a financial aspect of it to the citizens of Northport, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's about the checks and balances and crossing the D's, T's, dotting the I's, and making sure that whether it's the state attorney that needs to prosecute a criminal, we make sure that we have enough information for that, or if it's to get other funds available that pays for equipment that can provide better services or improve services to our citizens.
I thought you were going to run a different direction with the checks and balances because of what you said just prior, which was the grants. I thought that's where the checks and balance was going to come in.
Right.
Just making a joke.
Yeah,
But
no, I get it. I get it.
it's kind of funny because I don't know that most average citizens, including myself, would have known that your department wasn't just filing paper. It, there,
Right.
there's more to it,
Yes.
and so it's interesting to listen to you break it down. Are there any more of those kind of hidden truths? I would say that the citizens need to know about your department because they're kind of hidden because nobody ever talks about them.
Yeah. It's it depends on volume and what's happening. There's certain peaks and certain times where it seems like, we know we're going to get a lot of requests. So, for example, if something gets publicized out there, we have a high profile case or something like that. We prepare for it because we know we're going to get a volume of requests for that, and many times we can't provide the complete request that somebody's looking for instantaneously. So that's what we've really had to communicate to people, because that's what they'll say is, I just requested my report yesterday and I still don't have it.
Right.
And we have to explain to them, well, you requested the report and the body cam. So if you want all of those records, I'll give you an example. For every hour of body cam, like an officer's camera is an hour, that will take one of our technicians, it'll take them 3 hours to finalize that. And that's because you basically have to watch the video and then you have to go through it for audio and video redactions. So it takes about 3 times whatever that video is. So a lot of folks don't realize that. And of course, there is a fee, just like there is at City Hall and most other agencies. Anything in our agency after 30 minutes would be chargeable. That would be chargeable for the person. So, that's why there is a cost, is because of the extensive use of time that it takes to do a request. And body cam most of the time is extensive. So
Go ahead.
yeah, a lot of people don't realize, if you have one officer at an incident and it's an hour video, well, that's 3 hours. Now, let's say you had 4 officers because it was a burglary or something that, required more resources. Well, now you're going to have 4 times, you can see how quickly that will take a lot of time to do.
How do you break that? How do you break that down? I mean, is there a standard that you guys have to hit or maintain with that, or policy side of things?
What do you mean
As far as that hour event breakdown of film? What are you doing when you analyze that? Is there something that you're doing during that time frame, like a checklist, or is it per incident? Is it broken down that way?
Yeah. So if there's an incident and let's say that there's 2 people on that call, there's 2 body cam videos, so each one is an hour. So if each one is an hour, you're going to times that by 3, right? So that's for estimating the cost that it's going to take to do that request. So you get what I'm saying? You have one officer is 3 hours. So that's 6 hours. Now, when you actually go to do that, it may not take 6 hours. It depends on what the nature is of that incident.
So
if it's not anything criminal, then likely it might take less than that. So yeah, it just all depends on the nature of the incident.
Yeah, okay. That's kind of where I was going with it, with the fact that it's not, it's there's no set standard, other than the charge itself, but there is flexibility within, because you may not have to charge that rate, but it could be less, it could be more. You're just giving the guideline, right? Well, I think you froze. Oh, there you are. Did you hear what I said? I see you. I
Yeah,
I
the
can hear you now.
internet is kind of playing tricks here.
Yes, just a little.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's right. It's just it's a it's a case by case situation.
and I really think we're having something across the board, because the internet side of things is never this difficult. But it seems to be today, because I have both of my screens
Yeah,
popping up at the same time and scrolling, which I never have.
right.
But that being said, as far as your job now, when you analyze it and you've got 8 staff members underneath you, where do you see it going?
Well, it's definitely going to grow. We actually, in order to fulfill requests and keep up the pace, as the calls for service increase in the city, the same goes for the departments that serve it. Not just records, but that would be true with other areas of the department as well. We need to make sure that we're evolving with the growth in the city as well. So I see the department growing. We have more specialties that we need to kind of focus in on. The right now, what's growing exponentially is body cam requests. So those take quite a bit of time, and definitely, God bless you.
Sorry.
Definitely, I see the growth in that area that we would add more people. So we just got to make sure that we're growing with it.
So we hear this word every year, and I'm going to throw it at you because you've been dealing with it for a while in the city, as a commissioner, past commissioner, and as now a manager. Um, can you talk about the budget in your department, and how you as a manager analyze that, break that down, and fulfill the need sometimes to cut and not cut service?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those difficult things every year. So you have to prioritize things, and make sure that we are providing a service,
Right.
as difficult as it may be. And it does put more pressure on the people that are working when you're short staffed. But I've been very fortunate to work with a great group of people that are very dedicated. Um, it's very hard to find in a day where we have a dull moment. That just doesn't exist in the records department, which is kind of opposite of what a lot of people might think. Oh, well, you're just filing records away. No, it's so much more than that. And my people have just been great, as far as being able to juggle all of that and manage it. I think the people have a greater understanding of the need to grow in staffing support for the records department, because it is so in touch with the direct service that they're getting. You know what I mean? That they want records, and they want them quickly, but we can't provide them quickly if we don't have enough people to be able to maintain that. So they have a greater understanding, and I would think the same is true for officers. We need more officers in this city, because of the growth that we've had. You don't want people waiting 10 minutes after they call the police. That's not what you want to have. And we've been very, very fortunate to be able to internally, even though we have some staff shortages, we've been able to, provide reasonable service to the community. So we tend to be able to respond very, very quickly. So it's a matter of prioritizing and just being able to shift and evolve.
So I'm going to ask you this because we've gone through some changes, we've gone through growth. You've been here, you've been in charge of being a mayor, being a commissioner, and now being a manager within the police department. The referendum that didn't pass. When we talk about need in the city of Northport, um, I've talked to a lot of the leadership, and I know we're clearing closets out. We're putting people in spaces um, for their best potential that we have. Um, when you assess that with your experience, and I count on your background more so than your management, although it kind of affects what I'm asking you today. Um, do you see the need for the expansion of having that facility built?
Absolutely. I can tell you, I saw it 15 years ago. And when we started having conversations 15 years ago about the growth and what would be needed in the future. Well, the future is here, and actually, the need
Start
is,
over. Start over.
yeah. So yes, I can see the need, and going back even 10, 15 years ago, when conversations were being had in regards to what was going to happen in the future and what we were going to need. So the future is here now. We are out of space. We've been out of space for a long time. And I'll give you another example. Body cam, as I've talked about quite a bit, the need to have another person in here to do that. I don't have any space. I don't have enough space to put somebody to be able to do that. So we're going to have to be creative, and that's an immediate need right now, let alone what we're going to see in the next year or 2 years. It's going to be very, very difficult. Um, and it's all about being able to have enough support staff, have enough officers to provide the top level police services as the community is accustomed to right now. I believe that the community is satisfied with the service they've been getting, and the last thing we want to do is see that decline. So without getting a facility, it's going to become very, very difficult.
You kind of have a unique position, not management position, but you've come out of the government leadership role, and now you're in management role. It's kind of a weird transition, um, but a good one. You're obviously good at it. Um, so the analyzation that you have, it's not guesswork. It's there's some historical value, but there's some current value because you're within the same walls now that are struggling to figure things out. Um, your insight is huge, I think, because it lends to um,
Yeah, well, it's
we're going to do listen, we're going to do this interview again. We are, but we're going to do it somewhere where we're going to
okay.
have, because we're breaking up here too much. And these are like we're
Yeah,
into
we
this conversation. And I so go ahead and we'll try to finish up.
Yeah, so what, I can really, really appreciate the fact of being on the side of the analytical side, I would call it, when I was, the commissioner. and being able to analyze what's on paper, right? And take all of the numbers and look at things and have the foresight to see ahead. So I was able to experience that part of it. Now doing what I've been doing for 6 years, I'm actually living it. So now it becomes tangible to me. It's not just a bunch of numbers on paper and you have to analyze it. This is real. This is the experience of it. So I really value having that perspective, and certainly anything I can contribute to help move it along. I'm happy to do that. And it's difficult because of the times that we're in with the nationally, financial struggles that folks are in. So that is the difficulty of this. I'll tell you, one of the things that is frustrating is that because the policeman serves people, and it's a service for a personal, to individuals. It's not serving property like, say, like the fire department or the roads. Those are divisions that are able to have a different financing mechanism within the city budget. The police department is not able to by legislature. So it's a limitation that we have, that we cannot have, say, a district. You know how our fire department is a district? Are you familiar with the structure? Okay. So the fire department has a district, the road and drainage, the solid waste, those are able to have districts. So you get the ability to actually have dedicated funds for building for the future. The police department is not able to do that. Even though it's a public safety service, we're not able to do that. We're not able to have that type of a fund. Everything comes out of the general fund. And it just makes it very difficult. That's why we have the difficulties we do, is because it's kind of hard to, plan and actually charge fees for 10 years from now. You can't do it that way. So that's where the struggle comes in, to try to be able to get enough capital to build the police department. So it is going to have to come, from other sources. And unfortunately, the bond didn't pass this time. Hopefully, when it comes up again, we'll have a better outcome. Because the last thing we want to see is it showing that, in the service that's provided to the community, whether it takes longer to, for people to see officers are not able to respond as quickly as they were before. And think about also our infrastructure that has an impact on that. We only have 3 ways to go east and west in the city.
Yeah. And we don't have one of them right now.
Right. Exactly.
So it's tough. Yes. There's a lot of information. I would love to do this again, and I without the freezing of the internet, because I think what you have to say has a lot of value. Sure. And I would love to educate the citizens more through a viewpoint that it's very rare, because I don't know that there's any other commission or past commissioner working within City Hall or a fire department or police department. So I think you're kind of unique in that regard right now, which is really cool, because there's insight that you have on both sides. And then the third, which is you're a citizen, and you've been here many years. So you got three out of 3 of what people should be listening to as far as insight. You don't, and the beauty is no one has to agree with each other, but gosh, I know that we haven't always agreed on anything, but we've agreed on a lot. And I can say that overall, but I value what you're saying, and we've never argued. We just have conversations and move on, and we don't even see each other for 5 years. I wish other people could learn that,
Yeah.
because I don't think you learn anything by shutting people down.
No.
Um,
No.
I
And
think. Go ahead.
no, I've never taken anything personal. I think, the beauty of, having relationships with other people is you share your opinions, and you may agree, you may not, but you work together at solutions, and that's just the way I think you move forward. And that's um, really really neat to see, the history that we have, and see where the city has come in all this time.
Yeah, very rare do we get to turn the page backwards, and
Yes.
talk about the past. And we're so busy on the growth, and even putting the people who recently moved here into that page of, we're not going to stop. We've seen it start,
Yeah.
and once it gets momentum, it takes a and as much as everybody wants to think we're in an economic downturn, we're not anywhere near 2008.
Oh,
And, and your department is proof of that. So
yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how, once we pick up again on momentum, because it's coming. When quiet happens, there's a loud on the other side, and we're approaching that loud moment again,
Yeah.
where I think this city takes another large step forward. And I think you see it too.
Absolutely. I can tell you the during the COVID period, things went from being busy, and everything was just growing nonstop, and then COVID and everything slowed down. And when it came back, when things kind of came back to, normal functioning, it came back just, I mean, two times the volume of requests that we were getting. Everything just exploded. It was just that much more. So like you say, it was quiet, but look out for what's on the other side.
Yeah, it's coming. It's definitely coming. Listen, you're freezing up
Yeah.
more, and I
And
have a feeling.
yeah, I really love what I do. I love this city, and yeah, it's and definitely glad to help. And whatever people's needs are, we try and help them out as best we can. Usually when they come and see us, they're not having a very good day because something happened, and we try and help them out as best as we can.
Well, I know that you're doing a good job, because we don't hear anything bad about that. I think when you hear the bad stuff, it's a bad thing. Um, yeah, when you just don't hear the great stuff, I think your conversation has a lot of weight because of the grant possibilities, the way you guys are handling the department, and you're looking for every asset that you can to manage well. And really, the one thing I appreciate in this conversation is, I think you're taking the taxpayer serious, and I think all of our representation does, across the board. They may have different opinions and different outlooks, but I don't think I've run into anybody who works within the walls of City Hall or the police department or fire department that doesn't have the best interest of the taxpayers in mind. It,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Everybody's very community orientated, and that's the bottom. That's purpose. That's what we're here for. So anything that we can do to make it better, more efficient, and just keep with the growth.
well, listen, I thank you for coming on. We're approaching 4 o'clock. We're struggling here with a little bit of internet connection, but I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and educate all of us. Please share this content. I know it's not the high quality that I like, so I'm just going to ask you at some point soon. Maybe we can get back together, maybe on a Friday, and maybe instead of this separation, maybe we can be side by side somewhere, and maybe have a little bit stronger internet connection, so that we can have this conversation without internet interruption. But I appreciate you taking time out of your day. I really mean that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm delighted. Really enjoyed the conversation. And like you say, maybe we could do it again without the internet issues. Look
I
forward
love
to
it.
that.
I love it. Thank you,
All right.
Linda, very much.
Thank
Uh,
you.
to,
Okay. Take care.
Thank you. And to all you listeners, Linda Yates and I appreciate you following and liking the page. Please do that some more. Get this content out. I've shared it out to about 20 different sites right now. I apologize for the delays, and look forward to setting a date with Linda and doing this again, and maybe diving a little deeper into her thought processes on past, current, and future. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate you.
Thanks, John. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye bye.